Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum. I hope you all are doing wonderful. And today's the Medical Blueprint episode 4. I think, especially for the billers out there who are, some of them are experienced, some of them are just starting up. And I thought, let's just make a video on those who are actually in the same industry but different with the incomes. And I think there are a few reasons to make this video because I thought now let's just talk about the billers out there because eventually some of them are doing good in their jobs, some of them are the owners of the agencies, some of them are still normal billers, stick somewhere in the same specialty, and they have a different mindset. So I thought let's just talk about the billers today and see if you guys can learn something out of this episode and start trying to make a difference for yourself, and that will help you in the longer run to actually make a difference for you. you know and I thought it would be nice to do it by with the company that I represent. So because I like to also announce another series in this episode because I got some of the requests from most of the providers out there in my network who wanted me to create something for their, provider side as well for the consultant as well. The side of the RSM consultant, and there's another side of, the hidden side of behind the revenue. So that's also coming up down the road. We'll discuss about that later when that happens. But today is just most about the billers because there's a different mindsets that I've seen so far, and what I usually talk about in every episode that I do is based on my experience. I'm not judging anybody out there. Everybody has their own shades, and I like to keep it that way. But this is something which I've seen so far and heard so far from a lot of experienced people out there who are even more experienced than me, that this happens because either there's like task mindset out there for the billers, and there's another versus, like you can say, the value mindset of the biller, right? So there are most of the biller which I've seen so far, they have the task mindset, which means they will be, submit their job is like submit the claims. That's it. They come in there, they submit the claims, and they think, you know, they will get higher salaries later down the road, but that's not how it goes because there's another mindset out there which is called value mindset. Someone who put the value on the table, someone who creates the value for the not just for the company that they are working right now or they will be working in. They will be actually putting the value for the clinic, who they are working for. And like the value mindset is like, my job is to make sure that the clinic gets paid, right? And the doctor will get the benefit eventually. Once the doctor get paid, you will be getting paid at the same time. Their company's getting paid at the same time. So vice versa, things are going to be very fine. You will making good for yourself. Your doctor is happy, the client is happy for the company, the agency owners are happy with you. You will be getting incentives and everything, and you grow, right? Average biller, which I've seen so far, they understand, like according to them, they learn things by taking the initiative. So if the thing, most of them, the successful billers I have seen so far, they read a lot. They'll read guidelines, they read for the providers out there, they read the articles, Mac, a lot of things before they actually get into the practice. They set up their own workflow for our practice. This is something which I trained like maybe 20, maybe more than that, batches for the billing. And I've seen so far that the successful builders that I've seen in my past are those who actually read out there, and I admire those builders, the specialists, the consultants out there who actually read before they just go into something and test it by themselves. Test and try is a good thing. I would say, okay, instead of waiting, like if there's an average builder who might just wait for you to give another task to them, and then they're like, why this is denied, they will wait. Where is the money's getting stuck, they will wait for you to see how it goes. And then at the same time, there's another mentality out there of the bill who will read by himself, who will get into the specialty by himself. He will, even though chat gpt, right, by himself, and to see what exactly, why isn't there something that I'm not doing right now, or maybe I should do it with this practice. The personal that I've, my favorite is algorithm, my favorite is workflow. Everybody should supposed to have their own workflow. Even if you're a builder who's starting up, who's just a new, who doesn't even know a lot of specialty, a lot of EHRs, still you should supposed to know about, you should supposed to have your own workflow which is what that means is basically you should supposed to have your cheat sheet with you all the time. So if you're getting a hands on another provider, a new provider, you should supposed to know what exactly I wanted from this provider or this clinic. You should supposed to know that these are the requirements which I need before I move forward with this client, because eventually that will help you. Otherwise, you will be ending up, asking for that client in the middle of the month that I need these few things before I pursue with another claim, or maybe pursue with another setup. Either it's a another integration or anything like that. You will be asking them, and they will be thinking that you are the expert out there. They are relying on you with their bread and butter, and you should supposed to know everything about it. But again, even if you're not prepared for that, even if you don't have the requirements, or even if you don't have your checklist with you, then you might be facing a trouble over there, you know because that will lose your relationship with them. That can turn into the trust factor can be lost. So I think it's good to have your own cheat sheet, your checklist with you all the time before you get an hands on in their practice or their clinic or their provider out there. You should supposed to know what exactly you need from them, initially. So these are the things which you'll be needing initially, and then you should supposed to know how I will get this thing done. And that's how, you don't need to wait for someone to actually get you the answer. You don't need to wait from a provider to give you the reason of for, let's just say, uh, there's another example out there. You might need to file, and you need to set up an EDI, right? The builders out there, they know this. You have to set up the EDI, and you might be waiting before you submit the claims, and you're waiting either get paid or either you get the denial. And if you get the denial, then I'll see what exactly the reason was, and then based on that, I'll fix it, or I prepare for another step. Saying this is pretty easy for the provider that I will get it done. Don't worry. This is just a rejection from the clearinghouse or insurance, and I will fix it. I'll just resubmit the claims. It's good. People say, I have often seen that. But again, the cash flow got disturbed now. You'll be waiting for another week, 2 weeks or so to get them the revenue. So the monthly cash flow has been disturbed because of your small mistake or your procrastination. So I think it should be, in terms of a good biller will always understand this, and he will prepare himself or herself to actually create the value for the provider. They don't just, well, let's just say, hiding behind the screen is a different thing. Most people never talk to the providers because they think, well, what will they say? Yeah, they're just are so much afraid for this. Like, if I ask the provider about this thing, what will he say? They don't, like, providers won't kill you for helping them out, right? You should supposed to talk to them, ask those things which you need to understand, ask those things which you need to actually run their business. You don't need to wait for the denial later, and to actually ask them those things. you know so if you stay in the back end forever, then there's a limit income, there's a limit to your success, there's a limit to your learning. So you need to get out of there, communicate with your provider in a very right way, and they will value your jump, they will value your talk. So please do not afraid from those things. Then I think it's a lot of biller which I've seen so far is, uh they don't understand is how much the revenue the clinic is generating right now, where the losing is happening, what are the KPIs, even if they matter or not. And if you don't know that, you're like replaceable all the time. A good biller is another lawyer for a provider out there who's actually will be keeping an eye on their revenue, their bread and butter, their practice. You should supposed to understand that this industry doesn't keep you small, your mindset does. And if you do the task, you will always be get paid like a task, like a task worker out there. So it's good to learn things and fix them up, and then you will be actually acting as a consultant. Down the road, you will be actually providing a solution because the consultant knows what exactly they talk about. They know the behind the scenes. They know what exactly will happen if I don't ask for this down the road. Like, if they don't ask for those checklists out there, or even if a coder or other credentialing specialist, if they don't have their checklist with them, and they know what exactly to ask the provider, you will lose a good relationship, a partnership down the road, because they will understand, because I've seen so far that the providers do judge this thing, and they do understand if you're lying to them. They will, sniff you from very, I would say a pole ahead, and you have to very make sure that stop doing this thing. Do not just act like a biller who will be waiting for the another task. Learn by yourself. This era is something that you can learn anything out there. So be prepared for everything. Have your own workflow, have your algorithm for everything that you do, even if it's regarding billing. Do not afraid to go out for any specialty. Learn, and then you know get your things prepared and move forward with this. I know denials can be happens normal, right? You might make one mistake, but again, if you're putting the effort, they won't judge you. But if you will be just waiting rejection later out there to tell you what exactly you need to do, then you will be losing a very faithful, a good partnership with the provider. So avoid these things. I believe some of the experienced builder out there, they still do this. And if you want to still grow in this field, I believe, these are the small tips which I have seen and which I got from others out there, that how we will need to fix the small to get the bigger picture. And if we can do that, I believe uh, we all end up in a very good, you know, are some consultants who can actually help the clinics out there to get paid, and at the same time we can grow together, right? So I believe this video will be enough to post on the LinkedIn, and I'll take from I'll try to do another episode probably next week, something another episode that makes sense to the newbies out there, the youngsters that are actually getting into this business, and how few other mindsets out there. And I hope to see you guys, and thank you again. Thank you so much for giving so much support for the series, and it really helps. It keeps me motivated to create another one for you guys. And let's just go with it. And I believe if I can help few out there, there might be another few who can start doing this and help others out. And I believe this will be just good for rest of the out there, like rest of them who are actually out there who does need our help to actually decide what exactly they need to do. There are a lot of illiterate people out there, and they need your help to find something good for themselves, or find a career path that can actually help them to grow, make them good money, and at the same time they can actually do for something for themselves. So on that note, let's just I hope to see you guys in another video, and till then, take care of yourself, be safe, and talk to you guys soon. Have a good day ahead.